Hello, my good friends. Mike Shreeve here, founder and head troublemaker of the No Pants Project. You are listening to episode 20 of the No Pants Show, how to get client work really, really fast. What I want to do in this episode is make the process of client getting conceptually as simple as possible, because one of the problems is when you need client work fast, you're often under some kind of duress. Whether the duress is you just want to get clients as quickly as possible so you can get out of this job that you completely hate, or you want to get clients as quickly as possible because you didn't budget for something and now it's come up and it's expensive and you need to get some client money, or your business is struggling and you need to figure out what you can sell, or et cetera, et cetera. What happens is in those scenarios, when fast is the primary motivator, or at least the primary condition for motivation in under the circumstances to get a client, rather than I want a high paying client, or I want better clients, or I want to work on certain projects. If speed is the key, oftentimes what happens is our brain goes into overdrive mode. We tend to rely on fear and reaction, and that can take very simple processes and overcomplicate them. Oftentimes the overcomplication is not us even necessarily trying to overthink something as much as it is we react with doubt when something doesn't work immediately, or we sit and think, okay, how am I going to make this work? Maybe we just go through the Kelly and O'Connor emotional cycle of change. We start in uninformed optimism when we go down to the valley of doubt, and just really thinking that this isn't working like it was supposed to work, or I don't want to do this anymore, or we have these highs and lows, again, when we're under these sorts of conditions. What I want to do, however, is give you a very simple framework. It's only 3 little checklist items, so that regardless of where you are, regardless of what your resource access is, regardless of what you have going on, if you are under circumstances where speed is the key, you just think about these 3 things and you use this as a tool to simplify and remove the complexity that will arise from self-doubt and anxiety and worry and questioning whether you're even doing the right thing, and et cetera, and et cetera. So what the purpose of this podcast episode is to help you to uncomplicate whatever situation you're in, and even if you aren't under dire circumstances, understanding what these 3 checklist items are will allow you to get to where you want to go more quickly, because there's a lot of different ways to get clients. Most of them work. Okay, that's the problem. The problem with creating freelance business in 2019 is that nearly everything works if you work it. And so that means everything has pros and cons, and when you're trying to figure it out, it's very, very confusing. These are the only 3 things you actually need, though. Number 1, you need something to offer. Number 2, you need someone to offer it to. And number 3, this is the most important part, this is where everybody gets hung up, you need a way to get their attention so you can offer it to them. Now let's talk about these 3 things very briefly. Number 1, something to offer. You need something to offer. Here's what I mean. Most freelancers don't offer anything. They just tell people what their skills are. That isn't an offer. If I come up to you on the street and say, I can juggle, did I offer you anything? No, I just told you I can juggle. A lot of people, when they're pitching clients, I can write words. I can design logos. I can program stuff. Okay, well, thank you very much for telling me, and that's wonderful. I have a long list of people who are saying something similar, and I'm just trying to have my problem solved. An offer is that plus something else. I write words, and I'd like to offer that skill to you in order to help you make more sales. I Let's say, I am very good, or let's say, I'm just kind of coming out with, these are coming off the top of my head here. I am very good at garden design, and I'd like to offer you some of my time and skills and energy to design for you the perfect garden so that you can enjoy it with your family, and etc. and etc. Do you see the difference? It's a subtle difference, but it's critically important. That, what I just said, is like offer 101. Now, there are way more effective and efficient and better ways to craft an offer. If you need to get client work fast, now's not the time to be worrying about the PhD version of offers. You need to get your high school diploma first in offers. You need to get your elementary school certificate in offers. So instead of coming to the market and saying, these are the skills I have, say, I can help you get something, and I'd like to offer my services to help you get that something, and the way I will help you get that something is with the skills that I possess. Number one, you need something to offer. Number two is you need someone to offer it to, preferably someone who stands to benefit quite a bit by what you offer. For example, let's say that I can paint cats very well. It's an absolute lie. I can't paint anything worth a darn. I'm not only colorblind, but I've also never spent any time learning the principles of design. I don't know if you guys have ever seen anything I've ever put on the interwebs. But let's say that I can paint cats really, really well. I'm like a cat portrait artist, just, one of the best in the world. I can make the perfect offer of, I will help you, make this beloved pet of yours stay with you forever, long after they pass, through this beautiful portrait, and it'll be emotional, it'll be great, and you'll love it so much. But if I'm offering that to people who don't have cats, or people who are dog people, that's not gonna work. What you need to do is take the offer that you have and find people who stand to gain the most from it. If you want to know the secret is that you reverse the two. Instead of starting with an offer, you start with a pain that you've noticed, that you've recognized, that you've seen, that you've heard of, that you've experienced yourself, maybe. Not a prerequisite, but maybe that's where you're finding the source of this pain. And then you craft an offer using the skills you possess to solve that pain. Now you know you have an offer that's going to benefit a certain type of person, a certain group of people, even if it's just one person. The thing about human beings, they're so wonderful and amazing, and we have our own little quirks and uniqueness. But generally speaking, if one or two or three people have the same pain, probably thousands, if not millions, if not billions of people have that same pain. So you can bet quite a bit on if you're feeling that pain or somebody else you know is feeling that pain, there are likely enough people in the world who are feeling that pain, who have the access to the resources to keep you fully busy with client work. So, someone to offer it to, preferably someone who stands to benefit the most from what it is you offer. If you want to make this easy on yourself, look for the pain that people have. And it doesn't have to just be emotional pain. It doesn't have to be physical pain. That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about what are the frustrations of people? What is a business owner being frustrated about? What are your friends frustrated about? What is the problem that someone has that you think you could solve Maybe not with just your technical skill, but maybe a combination of other skills. There's your offer, and we're on to number 3, which is a way to get their attention so you can offer it to them. There's a couple of ways that this works. One, you just need to find out where they're all hanging out. The interwebs is a great place to find where people are. Facebook groups, LinkedIn groups, on Twitter, on LinkedIn, meaning their individual profiles, meetup.com, etc., etc. Find where they are, and then use the interwebs to scale your ability to get their attention. See, the problem with most people is they just make their offer. They forget the step of getting their attention first. Human beings are complicated and beautiful creatures, but sometimes we're so simple it's embarrassing. Human beings are attention-driven creatures. Meaning, it's easy to get distracted because we are driven by things that draw our attention. Just imagine for a second a world where you never got distracted, or a world where nothing caught your attention. It would almost feel like you weren't human, right? Advertisers, marketers, and people who are trying to get clients, the first, most fundamental core element of their job is to get attention. It's why headlines are so critical in blog post writing or creating posts. It's why less talented people have more success in many of the creative fields. It's because they may not be technically better than you, but they are better at getting attention. Because human beings are driven by attention. And when you have someone's attention, then you can do what number 3 is all about, which is get their attention so you can offer it to them. It being the offer that you created to solve a group of people's pains. Now, there's lots of different ways to do this. And I recommend you do the way that you can sustain, because it takes, in 2019, quite a bit of attention getting in order to get enough of that attention to find enough people so that eventually enough of them will say yes to what it is that you're offering. So you can do cold outreach via email. You can do cold outreach via LinkedIn. You can do Facebook ads. That's the very easy, scalable way. $20, $30 you can get in front of 1,000 people. If your ad is attention getting enough, you can get lots of people to sign up to your email list. Then when they're on your email list, now you have their attention whenever you really want it. You send them an email into their inbox. If you're good at your emails that you send, you actually earn additional attention. Because every time you show up, they see your name and they say, "Ooh, I like those emails." So there's a whole nother world of attention, which is a trained attention. It's the same kind of attention that a child has for their parent, a parent has for a child. There's ingrained attention, more than just sort of, standing on the corner in a banana suit. There's levels of attention. You can train attention. You can train people to pay more attention to you. But that's for maybe another podcast some other time. So Facebook ads. There's referrals. You want to know the best way to start the referral process? Get the attention of somebody who has access to referrals. Hey, I was just thinking about you. Email send. It always starts with attention. LinkedIn. I've got some crazy stuff going on right now with LinkedIn. It's absolutely working so well, and it is all about using LinkedIn to get attention. This is more than just cold outreach. I'm doing this for some private clients. I'm also doing it for myself. For those of you who are in the No Pants Project coaching program, I will be sharing the details and the strategies that I'm using. I fundamentally believe that 2019, 2020, and maybe even into 2021, LinkedIn is going to be the primary player to replace a lot of what people do to get clients. And I've been doing some crazy amount of testing, but LinkedIn is an absolutely great platform for getting attention. There's lots of different ways to get attention. You could use one of the other episodes that I gave you where you go and blog, one of the episodes of this podcast, you can go comment on blog posts. I think we titled that episode, The Easiest Way to Get Clients I've Ever Seen. That is, again, based on attention. So you can get people's attention so that you can make the offer, whatever that offer is, to help the people whose attention you have. So that's it. So whenever you are in a period of growth, even if it's a bad situation, so bad situations are periods of growth. They're probably the most growth you're going to do is in those awful situations. When you're in those situations and you're going through that process and you're going through that period of growth and things are confusing because everything's going on at once and you're really outcome dependent, meaning like I need these clients, and so you have all this self-doubt and things are going crazy, I want you to come back to these 3 things. Your entire freelancing business is dependent on only 3 things. And whenever you're thinking about purchasing something, whenever you're thinking about trying something, whenever you're thinking about doing something in your day-to-day, you have to ask yourself, is what I'm doing, is what I'm buying, is what I'm giving my focus to, is it contributing to one of these 3 things, or is it a distraction? Is what I'm doing helping me to come up with something to offer? Is it helping me to come up with a better something to offer? So for example, in the No Pants Project coaching and mentoring program, that's what we spend we spend up to 4 weeks working on just what it is you're offering. That's how big of a difference it makes. So is what I'm doing helping me to come up with something better to offer or something to offer? Number 2, am I thinking about, am I looking for, is what I'm doing right now, is the focus I'm putting on, whatever efforts I'm putting into this moment right now, are these thoughts and feelings, are these, these distractions that I'm looking on the interwebs trying to find the quick path, is this helping me to better identify someone to offer my offer to? Is this helping me to know whether or not the person that I'm going to be offering this to will benefit enough from this that they would want to exchange money for the value I could bring to them? If not, maybe it's not something you should be worrying about. Maybe it's not something you should be buying. Maybe it's not something you should be spending time on. If fast client getting and getting it as quickly as possible is what you're ultimately trying to do. And then last thing, is what I'm doing right now a way to get someone's attention so that I can offer to them the thing that I have created or thought of or planned or designed that will help those specific people get some kind of benefit or result? If it's not helping you to make something to offer, if it's not helping you to identify someone to offer it to who can benefit in a big way, if it's not a way to get their attention, those specific people's attention, so you can offer it to them, then very likely whatever it is you're doing is not only not contributing to getting a fast result in clients, it's probably ruining your chances, distracting you from doing the work, helping you to procrastinate, and ultimately it's making it tremendously more difficult to actually get the end result that you want. So my recommendation to you, my friends, is to use these 3 very simple checklist items: something to offer, someone to offer to who could benefit from it, and a way to get their attention so you can offer it to them, use these checklist items as a way to check against whatever it is you're doing so you can remain and sustain focus and the ability to put in the work that is required to get the results that you're looking for. That's it, my dear friends. A short episode for a fast result, which is to get clients as quickly as possible. If you'd like any help in coming up with something to offer, or figuring out who to offer it to, or coming up with ways, effective and efficient ways to get the attention of those individuals who you could offer something to, please visit the nopantsproject.com. We've got about an hour-long video there to watch, which goes a little bit more in depth into this kind of stuff. And then after that, you can have a phone call with one of my team members to see if we'd be a good fit in a very, there's a number of different ways we could potentially work together in which I could, my team could, etc., help you to achieve these three things, not only in a one-off sort of way, but in a sustainable and sustained way, which is to say, you don't just build it once, but you have it as a core skill so that no matter what happens, you're always able to return to this process and generate the results that you desire. Okay, my friends, that is it from me. My name is Mike Shreeve. I am the head troublemaker of the No Pants Project, and you have been listening to episode 20 of the No Pants Show, How to Get Client Work Fast. I'll see you tomorrow.